What's up, pals? Alchemy here, I guess you could say. Today I'm gonna be talking a little bit about, something different. I know it's a Serete Talk, the podcast where we talk about anything and everything Bleach related. And I hope you all enjoyed the little segment I did with Kyle Bear, the voice of Sosuke motherfucking Aizen, the other day. But this is not an episode of Serete Talk. I guess I could do the be right back screen. I guess that would make sense, in a way. But, for the most part, I'm going to be talking about OCs, a video that I've been wanting to make for a very long time, and unfortunately I don't have anything scripted for it. Therefore, it's just going to be probably very sporadic, to say the least. How should a unique OC be made? Now, last night I was talking to my girlfriend, and she asked me, was her OC unique? If you don't know her OC, this is going to get a little graphic. I'm not sure if she wants me to talk about this. Though it's her OC, it's not a personal life thing. Her OC, basically her backstory is she was raped by her brother, and now she's an albino, if I'm summarizing it correctly. And her personality type is very desensitized, not caring about things. She thinks that was unique. Obviously, I'm not bashing on it at all. I promise. You know I'm not. Okay? We talked about it last night, and I said, starting off, no, your OC was not unique. You know, even with the every OC that I've ever read has a tragic backstory of, oh, my parents are dead, or oh, my friends are dead, or oh, I was bullied in school and that's the reason why I'm the way I am. And that's generic as shit. You know? Or I was the one that killed my parents because they were bullying me. That's fucking retarded. I'm not even gonna sugarcoat it. I don't care if you don't like the word. That's what it is. It's stupid as hell. And to give your character the personality type of not caring or desensitized at that point is very generic, to say the least. It's different if you say that they just never did care, like they lived a perfectly normal life, but lived the life of a sociopath and never actually gave two shits about life itself. You know what? I'm gonna switch back to the Serete Talk. It gives me value in my life. It really does. But just that whole personality type as a whole is very aggravating to see, because you have people in anime. Yes, you have those one or two characters that are like, "Oh, I don't care. I don't care." But at the same time, they give a shit. You know, obviously, you get a reaction out of them from time to time. Nobody's ever completely desensitized. You know, I told Sage last night, I said, the most unique thing about an OC is when you give them a set personality and you break that set personality. I bring up her character and my character getting together. Obviously, her character was very, desensitized to the thought of any form of love or any form of affection or something like that. Very curious to the subject, even. Which, that is a unique form, you know. Most people that create their OCs are desensitized to literally everything, including from power scales to affection to happiness itself. But they want to get all pissy when you get mad at them, you know. But, anyway, Suzume was very, curious to the thought of love, especially after Kuro came into her life, and they basically got married and had the kids and all that. And now, that's a breaking of personality for Suzume, which is very unique, which is very something that, Sage didn't want to happen, but ended up happening in the first place. And personally, I kind of blame myself for that. I didn't want her to do that, but that's just what ended up happening. It's nobody's fault but our own. And now that it's happened, Suzume is a very, shows emotion to things. And obviously with the upcoming Quincy arc, it'll show emotion for Kuro, Suzume, possibly others of the same nature, such as maybe, I want to say Shiro. If you don't know who Shiro is, definitely go to our Amino. You get to know all of our characters personally with all that. Now, the biggest character that really has the personality type to defend is my character, Kuro. Bringing him up, Kuro has the personality of... Kuro is a stern yet just leader, usually looking at things from both perspectives and making the judgment after both sides have been presented. His temper does get the better of him, and he is easy to rile up. This is not advised at all. Why? Because he's a 50,000-year-old sinner, obviously. That being said, Kuro is Kuro. There's no getting around that. To say the least, he's the kind of person that will help you out. But at the same time, if you piss him off, he's gonna knock you the fuck out. That's a personality type you don't see very often. You don't see someone with a short temper. You don't see someone who will be wholesome and actually do things. But I've given him the characteristic of arrogance. Much like myself. Being a 50,000-year-old sinner, he himself is an arrogant motherfucker. Much like me, myself, and I. Those three people, me, myself, and I, are the type that get along swimmingly. Now, I know what you're thinking. Someone who preaches the lore, such as myself, having a 50,000-year-old sinner who is the commander general of the 13 Court Guard companies. How the fuck does that work? Why am I such a hypocrite? Well, I'll give you that answer right now, Zevos. It's very possible when you look at the fourth Bleach movie, and I know what you're thinking, Zev. That's not canon. However, the only reason it's not canon is because they don't know where to put it in the story. Bet you didn't know that. Kubo himself worked very, very close on the fourth Bleach movie. And it's one of the very few movies, or one of the only movies, that he didn't regret making. He thoroughly enjoyed making it. He gave the outlooks on the sinners. He didn't just draw them. He gave what they would be like. He said sinners have augmented abilities. Sinners have the whole thing with hell and not dying. Let's say that again. They don't die. The only way you die in hell is if you give up your willpower, which most likely, I'm still trying to work out Kuro's official death, but if he does die, that might just be the case of him saying, oh, I've lived a good life. Pardon me. I've lived a good life. I've met the reincarnation of my wife, had a family again. It's now complete. It's over. Personally, I think that's a good one. I'd like to go that way. Ah, there you are. I was wondering when you'd show up. I've been here the whole time, actually. Oh, really? Yes. As my counterpart, or creator, would say, he knows more about the series than I would. Why? Because I live in it. He studies it. It's something that not a lot of people can officially say. He based me completely off of him, from both physical characteristics to mental characteristics. He gets fired up very easily, so do I. We both get angry. That's what humans do. Even if I'm not human any longer, it's still something that happens to me, and gets the better of a lot of people. No matter how cunning you are, no matter how smart you think you are, I'll say this, there's always someone smarter and more cunning than you. That's very true. In all honesty, Even my character, Koro, right there. Koro himself sitting right next to me. Am I or am I you? Well, to both. There's always someone stronger. You can't just say that, oh, I'm a third seat and I'm gonna take down the head captain of the 13 court guard companies. No, you can't. Shut up, you stupid pig. You a dumb bitch. You stupid hoe. Even if you have a Bankai, guess what? You ain't taking down no Transcendent. You can't take down Mugetsu Ichigo. I don't care how much of the series or stat systems or any type of thing you want to deal with, it can't happen. You had the same thing if you went up against Aizen. You know, an onslaught of Kido, or an onslaught of, Kyokusoigetsu. You know, Kyle Bear himself said that when he was doing the voice of Aizen, he wanted to make him like that 2001 Space Odyssey. Very kind, voiced, but cold-hearted as shit. And that's what happens with a lot of people. Aizen is the perfect example, actually. Very cold-hearted, desensitized to a lot of things. But in the end, he ended up freaking the fuck out when Ichigo fought him. You know? That's something that's great character development. You know, that's when it becomes unique. Ichigo, someone who's always protecting someone. People bash on the Fullbring arc and hate it to death. Honestly, I love the Fullbring arc. It is such a good arc. Why? Not only because A, it gives Ichigo character development. When he sees everybody being turned against him, he breaks down mentally to the point where he decks Tsukushima through the fucking door. Like, when have we seen that? We've never seen a mental breakdown other than Aizen. Possibly Aizen. Like, and when you give your character that sense of just, I don't care. Oh, it doesn't affect me. Oh, I don't care what you say. That's not unique. You know, everybody wants to argue, oh, my character's the most unique guy on Earth. Oh, look at him. He's my OC. He's the greatest person alive. Nothing's wrong with him. I don't care what you say. Guess what? Something's fucking wrong with him. You're gonna have to deal with that. I'm sorry, but it's the truth. I'm sorry I've been cursing a lot in this in this video. I'm sorry I swear in general in some of my content, but in all honesty, it needs to be said. You know, you want to create a unique OC, then study the series and try and... Personally, Koro is based off of my personality. I'm loud, I'm boisterous, I'm eccentric. I'm the voice of Genryusai Shigekuni Yamamoto. You think I'm kidding? Go to the Retro Rhino. Go to Retro Rhino. Okay. First episode, I don't know when it's coming out, but it's coming out soon. Hype is real. We promote it like crazy. I promote it like crazy. Every single one of my videos, I'm like, yo, go to the Retro Rhino thingy. Go to his channel. Watch the opening. Something. We need that. I'm the voice of Genryusai Yamamoto. I'm the understudy of Bazard Black and Gerard Valkyrie. And those three characters reflect my personality as a whole. You know, I wouldn't have tried out for them if I didn't want them. Granted, I didn't want Bazby, but I ended up getting the understudy role, which is nice. I gotta say, I like it. Those characters have depth. They have meaning. You know, Gerard Valkyrie, he's very loud, very boisterous, very arrogant, because why? I am the heart of the Soul King. Nothing else, nothing more. I'm stern with her the miracle, Gerard Valkyrie. He's confident in his abilities because he is the heart of the Soul King. If you couldn't tell, I was beating on my chest there to make the heart beating sound. You know what I'm talking about, guys. Come on. Let's not be a bunch of assholes here. You have people like Bazard Black when he's a cocky-ass motherfucker, including when he's fighting Jugram Hashwall. Burning Finger 5! Full Burning Fingers! Or whatever it's called. I don't know. And I probably just peeked the mic a couple times there. But at the same time, that's his characteristic. That's my characteristic. You know, I love the fire. I love the Ryujin Daka. That wasn't the best take, but whatever. That's what I based Kuro off of. He's loud. He's eccentric. He knows what he wants. He can be caring. He has fear. When you say your character isn't afraid of anything, that's bullshit. That's stupidity right there. Everybody has fear. Whether it be the scientist, Kagerosa, having the same fear as Mayuri Kurotsuchi, losing their work, you know, not being able to pass it on. That's a very fearful thing. For Koro, it's going to sound very childish, but these are my fears. I'm afraid of spiders. I'm afraid of needles. This is where our fears differ. He's afraid of Retsu Unohana, even though she's dead. And Yoro Kuzuchi, his master, the one who taught him Omega. He's mortified of her, much like I'm mortified of her, and I created her character. Why? Because she's batshit fucking crazy at times. She's very sporadic. An OC that's very understanding of things is an OC that is very caring of things. You want your character to be strong. Don't give them the personality and characteristic of, oh, I don't care. You know, you want your OC to be liked. You want your OC to have something that not a lot of OCs have. Give them the characteristic of personality. You know? Don't focus on the crazy, stupid, overpowered Zanpakuto that they have, or weapon that they have. Don't focus on the race that can't happen no matter what. Don't say that they're from another dimension when you know for a fact that can't happen. You know, that's stupidity right there. You want to make a good OC? Do research. You want to make a good OC, you gotta know the series. You gotta be able to expand upon the series, know what's canon and what's not. You know, you gotta know what to give people. And if somebody does give constructive criticism, follow it. Unless you know for a fact you can prove it wrong. Follow it. You know, no Zanpakuto can be dual typings. You can't be the brother or sister of a canon character. That's stupid. Every time I see that, I just want to take the OC down right there. I know you want that to happen, but unless it was flat out stated that they have a sibling, you can't do that. You can't just say, oh, that's my OC and nothing's wrong with it. Because yes, that's a big thing that's wrong with it, you know? This episode, I'm calling it an episode, is basically just me ranting for 20 minutes, 20 some odd minutes, but guess what? It's a lot of things that need to be said. I will be heavily posting this on the Amino, and for those of you that agree with it, please go check it out. You know, there's not a single OC that we don't take care of. We offer the help in the OC Helpers chat to those who need it and those who want it. And even if they don't need it, or even if they don't want it, my bad, we still give it to them. Why? Because if you put it on the internet, it's going to be criticized. Excuse me. It's the truth. You can't expect something to be perfect when you know for a fact it's not. It doesn't matter if you work on it. It doesn't matter if you don't. Now, I've used a couple examples so far that are actual characters, you know. I know of a character that uses a wind-based Zanpakuto, but he can't explain how the wind can heal him. It's a very simple thing. Look, if it's outside of your Zanpakuto's ability, it can't happen. However, if you're in Shikai, it can. That's all I'm saying. You know? I don't care how much you don't want to believe that. It's possible. There's a lot of things that you can expand upon in a series. You know, there's a lot of things that you can just go off of that not a lot of people know of, and you can say, well, that's a good character because we don't know a lot about it. Take, for example, the Beast race. You know, Kubo himself said he wanted to work with the French. Obviously, he said that about the Sinners. I understand that. But personally, I think the Beast should be French. You know? Why? Because Sinners are, by technicality, still souls. You can't say you're a demon when there's no such thing as demons. You can't say you're from another dimension in Fullmetal Alchemist when, guess what? We only know of 2 dimensions, and the only other way to open one is through Through a gate and a lot. I'm not entirely sure, actually. I know it involves a certain type of circle. However, that's only in the 2003 and not Brotherhood. So guess what? You can't say it's... Actually, you can, because guess what? Both series are canon. I love that more than anything. A lot of people rag on the 2003, changing of subjects slightly, of Full Metal Alchemist. But personally, I love it more than life itself. Now, I'm running on 20 minutes here. To close, I'll say this. Guys, don't just think that your OC's perfect. Really don't. Even my OC is imperfect. I might not even close right here. I might wait a little bit. But on the subject of Zanpakutos, you know that? A Zanpakuto can only be one element. You know that. On the terms of ability-wise, well, let me ask this. Why is Soifon's Zanpakuto a two-shot kill in Shikai, but in Bankai it's a giant fuck you missile? And why does it say that no Zanpakuto can have unrelated abilities when you have that? Or Ikkaku, I don't give a fuck what the wiki says. Ikkaku's Shikai is that it simply splits into 3 things. And in Bankai, the more he uses it, the stronger it gets. Granted, it's been broken twice now, and the son of a bitch is substantially weaker. That's not cool. Kubo, what the fuck? You can't just give us one piece of information and go completely against it. Yes, I understand Yu-Hall's 1,000 years old and he doesn't understand Zanpakutos nowadays. Mostly because Zanka no Tachi might have changed. You know? A lot of people ask, oh, how can my Zanpakuto revive people or heal people completely? Koro was meant to be a healer. 100% flat out. That's why his augmented abilities are to read hearts and see fates. So he can, one, prevent it if he so chose. Granted, he doesn't because that's messing up balances and stuff. But, and to tell if somebody's hurting. He wants to be able to help. I wanted him to be a helper and a healer. As far as revival goes, obviously his Zanpakuto takes aspects of hell because he is a sinner. Possible. You know? Zanpakuto is an extension of the soul. Granted, I think I'm going to take out one aspect, that being the visored thing. I'm not entirely sure if I should or shouldn't, but not everybody's visored, mostly because there's no such thing as a natural visored. Side note for that. Writing it down. No, I'm not. But to be revived, basically the way I put it, 2 ways. 1, he breathes the fire of life into you. What is fire? A life-giving energy. One that gives warmth, heat, keeps us alive as a race, you know. And or he pours his spiritual pressure into that person. That's how he's able to revive and do those things. How is he able to shut down Zanpakuto? Couldn't tell you. I forgot. I know that's a cop-out thing to say, but it's the honest truth. I had an explanation. But I don't have it anymore. I'm sorry. Much like we don't know... Well, by technicality, we don't know how Kyoku Soigetsu works anymore, because Aizen's fused with it. If he so chooses that person to be under Kyoku Soigetsu's control, that's what he does. Now, just like Koro, it's very optional for him. But yeah, video started out as a rant, ended with a rant, ended with an explanation. We're reaching 25 minutes. I'm gonna end it off with just saying what I said before reiterating it. Give your character personality, for Christ's sakes. Dude, nobody likes a non-caring asshole. Make them care. People want someone who will get riled up. People want someone who will defend their opinion, their speech, their rights, their all of that stuff. People want someone who will fight to the goddamn death. Not someone who's like, oh, you're leagues above me, but I don't care. You could kill me in an instant. That doesn't frighten me at all. Fuck you. Fucking, come on, yo. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed this rant. This will probably be very few of how many I actually do. Surprisingly enough, it's not about baskets. And only my team will get that. Hope you all enjoyed this video. Hope you have a good night and sweet dreams, pals. Talk to you all later.